Okay, so yesterday we started talking about direct variation. We're going to look at it a little more in depth today. Alright, now yesterday we looked at the graphs and we kind of analyzed the K value. And we figured out that the formula for direct variation was y equals kx. Now, today we're not going to be graphing direct variation. We're going to be calculating some direct variation. So a problem like this wouldn't be using a graph or necessarily giving you the equation. It's going to give you some values like this. If y equals 8 when x equals 2, then find x when y equals 20. Now, that may seem totally off base, but look, if you know that these vary directly, then you know that it fits this equation. Well, look what it gives you to start with. It gives you a y value and an x value. Okay, just like from the graph, we're looking for our k value. So we're going to use this equation and this y and this x. See, because if I have a y value and an x value, then I can find my k value. So I plug in the 8 for the y and the 2 for the x. Can we solve for k? Sure. K equals 4. Okay. Now, but that's not what it asked for. It didn't ask for k. So why did I find k then? I found k so that I could find this x value because it also gives me a y for that x value. So now I can use this k value with this y value to find my missing x. I just plug it into the equation. This time I have 20 equals 4x. So now I can solve that equation and I find that x equals 5. Right? So our two steps. First, we're going to use the x and the y to find the k value. And then step 2, we use that k value to find our other missing variable. Because it could ask us to find x or y. Now let's analyze k a little bit more. We know that the equation is y equals k times x. Alright, so but if we're looking for k, then we can rewrite this equation. I can solve for k, divide by x to get the k by itself, and I get that k equals y over x. So you can see that really to calculate your k, all you have to do is take your y value and divide by your x value. Now, yesterday we said that k was the rate of change. Well, how is y over x the same as rate of change? Well, let's think about the any direct variation graph. What is one point that is always on every direct variation graph? And yeah, that's the origin, point 0, 0. Because that's on every direct variation, otherwise it's not direct variation. So let's look at an example. Let's say that it also goes through the point 3, 4. Then we would be looking at rate of change as rise over run, which if we use our slope formula, we would get y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, 4 minus 0 over 3 minus 0. So I really just get 4 over 3, which is really just this y over that x. So since this always goes through the origin, any direct variation always goes through the origin, really, whatever the other point is, you can just put y over x to find your k value. Okay, so now 2 quick examples, and then I'll give you your homework. These problems look just like the one that I already went through. Okay, the first one says, if y equals -9 when x equals 3, then find y when x equals -5. And the second problem says, if y equals 12 when x is 18, then find x when y is -16. Now, notice, up here, it asked you to find the y value and it gave you the x. Down here, it asked you to find the x value and it gave you the y. It could ask you for either one, okay, but it's going to give you the accompanying coordinate to go with it. Okay, so go ahead and pause it, see if you can work out these 2 problems, and then we'll do them together. Alright, so if I'm following my steps, step 1 was to find k. Well, now I know that k is just y over x. I can plug it in. Y is -9, x is 3. So -9 over 3, k is -3. But that's not really what I'm looking for. It's just what I need to find the next step. So then step 2 is use that k with my x value in this case to find y. Because I know k, I know x, so I plug them in to y equals kx, and then I solve for y. So y equals +15. And that's it. That's the answer. That's what y is when x is -5. And for the next one, again, I start by finding k. So k equals y over x, which in this case is 12 over 18. So k equals 2/3. Okay, this time I know k and I know y, so I plug it in. I've got y equals k times x, and I solve for x. If I divide by 2/3 or multiply by 3 and divide by 2, I get that x equals -24. Okay, so that's how we solve our direct variation problems. Alright, so your homework. Homework is page 186, 22 to 29. Most of the problems are just like the ones we've done here. There's a couple that are graphing that we went over yesterday, and then a couple of word problems just to see if you can think.